بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على خير المرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم لا سهل إلا ما جعلته سهلا، وأنت تجعل الحزن إن شئت سهلا. اللهم اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. أما بعد، نكمل مع شرح العقيدة الطحاوية لابن أبي العز الحنفي رحمه الله تعالى. We still at the point where he rahimahullah talks about the reasons why people go misguided. Why people go misguided. And he mentioned that one of the reasons is because of their negligence in following the Prophet ﷺ. And we have elaborated on that for a bit. And then he said, وَتَرْكُ النَّظَرِ وَالِاسْتِدْلَالِ الْمُوصِلِ إِلَى مَعْرِفَتِهِ فَلَمَّا أَعْرَضُوا عَنْ كِتَابِ اللَّهِ ضَلُّوا. He said also the lack of reflection in the book of Allah Azza wa Jal, and how the Muslims do not take enough time to reflect and ponder upon what came in the book of Allah Azza wa Jal, that eventually will lead to knowing Him subhanahu wa ta'ala, because the purpose is to know Allah Azza wa Jal. The purpose is to know Allah Azza wa Jal. We understand that we are here to worship Him subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that worship cannot be at the point or close to the point that Allah Azza wa Jal wants without knowing Him subhanahu wa ta'ala the way He deserves. Okay? And all the problems we feel in our relationship with Allah Azza wa Jal are due to this reason. Due to the reason that we had not known Him enough subhanahu wa ta'ala. There is no way you can achieve that form or the type of ibadah that Allah Azza wa Jal wants from you to the best you can without having knowledge of Him subhanahu wa ta'ala and who He is. And who He is. And that's what he says, وَتَرْكُ النَّظَرِ وَالِاسْتِدْلَالِ الْمُوصِلِ إِلَى مَعْرِفَتِهِ. Any form of order Allah Azza wa Jal obligates us for, He subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to know Him, to know about Him, to know of Him. And that is really the difference between who worships Allah without knowing Him and who worships Allah with knowing Him. You find the difference in their dedications and commitments, like the difference between heaven and earth. Because if al-ibadah is to have sincerity, and sincerity is to feel that what you're doing is for Allah. Imagine you don't know Allah. How is that sincerity will be? If the pillar or the action is dependent on two things. One of them is sincerity. And the meaning of sincerity is to do the action for the sake of Allah. So Allah is a fundamental part of the niyyah. And you lack in your knowledge of who He is subhanahu wa ta'ala. How can this sincerity be developed to a better level? Thus, the ibadah in itself has issues and flaws. Alright? يقول الله عز وجل فإما يأتينكم مني هدى فمن تبع هداي فلا يضل ولا يشقى ومن أعرض عن ذكري فإن له معيشة ضنكا ونحشره يوم القيامة أعمى قال رب لم حشرتني أعمى وقد كنت بصيرا قال كذلك أتتك آياتنا هذا الشاهد قال كذلك أتتك آياتنا فنسيتها وكذلك اليوم تنسى. الله عز وجل ابن أبي العز الحنفي رحمه الله المصنف, the author, he quotes the ayah from Surah Taha, or the ayat from Surah Taha 123 to 125, and I will mention the numbers so as a reference. He quotes where Allah Azza wa Jal says that you will receive guidance from me. You will receive guidance from me. You have received guidance. We have received guidance. And there is no better guidance than the Quran. You will receive guidance from me. Indeed, who follows such guidance will not go astray and will not struggle, will not suffer, will not be miserable. فلا يضل ولا يشقى. ولو سألت الناس, if you would ask people today, any person, what you want, he will tell you, everything will boil down to one point. I want happiness. I want happiness. I want peace of mind. I want to be comfortable in my life, right? Wallah Azza wa Jal here says the key for that happiness. قال فإما يأتينكم مني هدى فمن اتبع هداي فلا يضل ولا يشقى. This is the bottom. رضي من رضي, سخط من سخط, قبل من قبل, رفض من رفض, أخذ من أخذ, أعطى من أعطى. This is what Allah said. Anything else they try to convince you of, فرع عن هذا, is nothing but emanates from this fact. Some people, they want happiness. Where they go? They go to books of psychology that talks about happiness, right? They go to psychiatrists, they go to psychologists, they go to whatever they perceive as a source of happiness. And we're not against knowledge, and we're not against reading, and we're not against searching. But if this element is missing, nothing will work. No position will work as people perceive that to be happiness. No money will work as a lot of people perceive that as happiness. No power will work. Nothing. If this element is missing, this is a promise from Allah Azza wa Jal. This is a promise from Allah Azza wa Jal. Can you imagine? We look at individuals, public figures, known for how filthy rich they are, right? And a lot of people perceive or assume that these people are happy. Whereas if you would sit with one of them, you will realize how miserable they are. And I guarantee they're miserable. Oh, you met with them? No, I didn't meet with them. Based on what? Based on the fact that Allah makes the element of happiness as guidance. Allah makes guidance to be the main element of happiness. Will money bring happiness? It will, but it's not the happiness that anybody wants. Might be very temporary. Definitely it will not be that continuous sense of happiness. And you look at Bezos, right? The Amazon guy. You all know the story. Cheating on his wife, right? What do you think he was looking for when he was cheating on his wife? Money? I don't think the guy needs any more money, right? He's looking for some. There is no point that someone at the level of this man, right? And by the way, he's Palmetto graduate, right? Did you know that? I went to Palmetto. But anyway, I'm not as rich as he is, but anyway. So the point is, most probably I won't be sitting here if I was as rich as you. I'll be lost. Huh? Alhamdulillah, I'm not like that. So the point is, you have to analyze the situation. Someone in his position, who is well known all over the world, willing to risk his reputation, willing to risk half of his wealth. Half, I'm not talking about our half is different than his half, right? Talking about billions of dollars, willing to risk those two things, willing to risk an empire he built, right? For what? You think it's for a woman? Do you think it's just for sexual satisfaction? No. He's looking exactly to what every single human being is looking for: happiness. He's not happy with his wife, so he's looking for happiness. And this is great proof that money is not happiness, that power is not happiness, that success in a worldly matters is not happiness. These are good elements to bring happiness, but they're not the key. They're not the key, and they're not the real source of happiness. Or they bring happiness, but not the real happiness. It could be delusional, could be temporary, could be sarab or mirage as they call it, but it's not the real level of happiness that will be satisfactory to the person, will not be satisfactory to the soul. Alright? I know you might not, a lot of us will say, oh, this is so much theory, just we don't have that much money. If we had this much money, we will be happy for sure. Well, I just gave you a proof. The richest man in the world, what else you want? The richest man, what else you want? That he was missing something in his life that he was looking for, and that is happiness. Sakina. لِتَسْكُنُوا إِلَيْهِ. He's looking for it. And he can find only that with another mate, with another woman. Alright? As long as this element is missing, nothing will guarantee or nothing will generate happiness. فَمَنِ اتَّبَعَ هُدَايَ فَلَا يَضِلُّ وَلَا يَشْقَى. Who follows my guidance will not suffer, will not go misguided, will not go astray, and will not suffer. وَمَنْ أَعْرَضَ عَنْ ذِكْرِي فَإِنَّ لَهُ مَعِيشَةً ضَنْكًا. And he who turns his back to my guidance, then indeed he will have miserable life. Miserable life. A lot of us will come across this ayah and look and say, ask ourselves the first question: why am I suffering in my life when I'm trying my best to be on the guidance? Be aware of this. This is nothing but from the shaitan who's trying to play with your head. This is tazkiyah. You're making tazkiyah and glory to yourself when you think that way, when you are forbidden to do so. The question should be, this is how you should act. If I'm miserable in my life, that means I'm not on the guidance that Allah Azza wa Jal wants me to be on. That means I'm not doing enough to be on that path. Very important, not to question Allah, you question yourself. Mafhum? If you had you been honest with yourself in analyzing yourself, you will come to the conclusion that I'm not doing enough. My prayers are not the way they're supposed to be. My khushu' is not the way it's supposed to be. My taqwa is not the way it's supposed to be. I commit this haram and this haram and this haram and this haram and this haram, and everybody of us is that person. None of us here is infallible. ما في معصوم. ما في معصوم. And the idea is, instead of asking, if I'm doing what Allah wants me to do, why I'm miserable? That is the wrong question with Allah. هذا قلة أدب and lack of adab and mannerism with Allah. Do you doubt the words of Allah? Because such question can imply doubt in the words of Allah. Allah says, who he turns his back to me, to my guidance, I guarantee for him a miserable life. True? So when you say, well, I'm not turning my back to the guidance of Allah, why my life is miserable? That's questioning of the hikmah of Allah, questioning of what Allah says. The right questions which will get you where you want to be with Allah is, where is it I'm weak in my guidance? Where is it I'm deficient in fulfilling the order of Allah? Where am I short? And you start filling up those gaps and filling the blanks, right? Until you get to where Allah wants you to be, and then you will find that happiness guaranteed from Allah Azza wa Jalla. And it might not, as we achieve or agree, it might not be through money. Even if your misery is money, happiness does not necessarily mean it's going to be through having money. Happiness from Allah Azza wa Jalla is a unique feeling that you will find in your soul, in your nafs. That coolness and peace of mind, that ease, right? Tranquility, that you will find in the heart. That is happiness. Alright? I understand, dain is ham, right? Debt is stress and source of depression and this and that. And very much, most probably all of us are in debt. But the idea is you become happy, and one of the sources of happiness is you are confident that when you fulfill what Allah wants, He will fulfill your need. A lot of incidents in the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ guiding people for something like that. The Sahabi, the companion comes and he says, Ya Rasulullah, I'm in a lot of debt. He said, make a quarter of your dhikr, salah on me. Right? Make half of it, make all of it. So he guides him that dhikr and saying, Allahumma salli wa sallim ala Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Allahumma salli wa sallim ala Nabi, as a way of that Allah Azza wa Jal will take care of your debt. مثلا, did not instruct him to the physical action of go make money and pay off your debt. And that's not eliminated in the advice. But the main thing is when there is peace of mind, there is readiness and there is motivation. But when the person is depressed because he owes money, right, he will not have that energy inside of him to go work, to try to pay it off. So he tells him, make salah on me, or make istighfar, right? Istighfar also. قل تستغفروا ربكم إنه كان غفارا يرسل السماء عليكم مدرارا ويمددكم بأموال وبنين ويجعل لكم جنات ويجعل لكم أنهار. Right? You say, Allah says, make istighfar. Surah Nuh. That Allah Azza wa Jal, that you make istighfar, Allah will be pleased with you and will open doors for you and will provide with you with wealth and children. Right? Istighfar. Allah ya ikhwan. A brother came to me one time in Philadelphia to ask me about the hukum or the ruling of intubation, or what they call them, having in vitro, having children in vitro. I told him, Astaghfirullah. He said, 7 years we can't have children. And this story I'm telling you, it's not a story I read or I heard. This happened with me, first hand. He said, astaghfirullah. He said, try this. Wallahi, 2 months passed. And this guy who come to me after Jum'ah one day and hugged me from behind, crying. And I didn't even remember who he was. And he said, my wife is pregnant. Wallahi, he said, I preserved on astaghfirullah after every salat. And look what Allah Azza wa Jal had given. But the problem we have is yaqeen in Allah Azza wa Jal. Yaqeen in Allah Azza wa Jal. We attach so much our hearts to the reasons and to the means. Shuf Allah Azza wa Jal, when He's talking about Nuh, Surah Al-Qamar, and He talks about the Safina, the ark, that Allah Azza wa Jal saved His faith, saved the deen, saved the believers on the ark of Nuh, right? We all know the story. When Allah Azza wa Jal described that ark, what did He say about it? Did He talk about the ark being sinking resistant? Did He talk about the material and how important these properties of materials, and this will float and this might drown? Didn't talk about any of them. Allah Azza wa Jal talked about the Safina to the simplest form you can imagine. قال وحملناه على ذات ألواح ودسر. That's it. And we carried him on this thing that is made of what? Of alwah, boards of wood. Even didn't say wood, boards and nails. Dusur, nails, wood and nails. Didn't complicate it, and it was this and it was that and it was that. Some people today, they get busy asking, how long was the ark of Nuh? انت شو دخلك أصلا? How long it was, how wide, who cares? Who cares? If it was a log of a tree, Allah would have saved it. But look how Allah describes. قال ذات ألواح ودسر. But شو الكي? What is the real deal? تجري بأعيننا. This is what saved them. تجري بأعيننا. That it runs. The key, that this is the very next ayah. وحملناه على ذات ألواح ودسر تجري بأعيننا. But the key is what? That it runs under our care. That this ship or this ark, right? This ark is sailing under our care. Some come and say, how is you prove that, you acknowledge that Allah has eyes, right? What the ship or the ark was in His eyes, تجري بأعيننا. يقول له يا حمار أجلكم الله لم يقل تجري في أعيننا، قال بأعيننا. فرق بين بأعيننا وفي أعيننا. Right? There's a difference between بأعيننا and في أعيننا. Right? هذه باء المصاحبة. باء المصاحبة مثل قولك بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الباء هذه حرف جر يفيد المصاحبة, meaning a company. بسم الله يعني in the company of the name of Allah I eat. In the company of the name of Allah I travel. In the company of the name of Allah. That's what ba means. Bi. Bismillah. Okay? بشوف لك. طيب. This is the key. Right? This is the key. Allah Azza wa Jal in these verses guarantees that a life of satisfaction is through being with Him subhanahu wa ta'ala. You could at one point in your life think, that if I have this, I'll be happiest guy. If I have that, I will be the happiest guy. And you get it, and you wake up the next day, and you still find that emptiness that you're looking for. That's how Allah created us. That's how Allah designed us. وَمَنْ أَعْرَضَ عَنْ ذِكْرِي فَإِنَّ لَهُ مَعِيشَةً ضَنْكًا. And he who turns his back to my guidance, we guarantee for him a miserable life. So don't be fooled by what you see. And another proof that these people are always looking for happiness. Another proof is look how many recognition ceremonies they have throughout the year. The Oscars, the Grammys or whatever, all year long. They're trying to keep people busy. They need to be busy. And then red carpet, and look what she wore, and look, most probably she spent the last 3 months working on that dress she's gonna wear, and then people are gonna take pictures and just praise it. What are these people happy? You think these people happy? Don't be fooled. The Muslim should see with different eyes. The Muslim should see with different eyes. This is why Allah Azza wa Jal says, Wallahi I guarantee and I swear by Allah, none of them is happy. None of them is happy. And I bet you a lot of them on antidepressants, and a lot of them on medications, and a lot of them on drugs. And we hear every now and then someone overdosing and dying. We hear it all the time. Right? Drugs, alcohol, and car accidents. How much? How many people? On the post I put 160,000 people die a year in America because of these things. Because drugs, alcohol, and car accidents. 160,000. And you want to tell me that the priority is to fight terrorism? Spending $6 trillion so far on fighting in Afghanistan and Iraq, the terrorists? 6 trillion. And at the end is what? They're sitting in Doha, negotiating across the table from Taliban. Right? You hear all that. Today the United States government is sitting with Taliban in Qatar to negotiate an agreement. Why you didn't do that a long time ago instead of spending $6 trillion? Regardless of who paid it, who paid the bill. You know how much that money, $6 trillion? Let's start. 1, 2. You're laughing because how long it's going to take us just to count? God knows how many times they can, if they put bills next to each $100 bills, how many times they're going to go around the globe. That $6 trillion could have resolved all the problems and all the issues in the world. That $6 trillion could have left everybody with a house and most probably with a car and satisfied, and that $6 trillion could have fought every disease and every famine in the world. Right or wrong? That's a lot of money. Which is another proof that it's not their interest to solve the world's problems. Actually, it's their interest is to create world problems so they can be the only ones benefiting from it. And if wealth and power were sources or true sources of happiness, these people who allow all these things to happen, this deep state, would have been satisfied a long time ago. But it's not. These things do not bring happiness and satisfaction. Very temporary. Create a war today, you get a lot of money because you're selling a lot of weapons. 2 months later, what's next? That's why, create another problem, create another disaster. Not. And what we see in the world is great evidence. You all heard about the scandal, college admission. Another thing. Why someone will pay someone hundreds of thousands of dollars to get their child into a respectful university. And what drives me crazy out of this whole thing is for them to pay $500,000, this actress and her husband, for their daughter to go to USC. What is USC that you need, that shows you the level of intelligence of these parents. And you get them into Yale, into Duke, into Harvard. USC, most probably it's not that difficult to get into USC. Here's University of South California. Most probably like UCF or something. Paid $500,000 to get their daughter, but then you realize how dumb the daughter is, most probably. For them, most probably they needed to pay that to get her in community college. Right? But that shows you why they're doing that, why they're risking all that. Because they're looking for pleasure. My kid go to a respectful university, and I'm not belittling USC by any means, if anybody went or attended that. But the idea is, seriously, they're looking for satisfaction that my kid got in a good university. Even though the kid does not even care about schooling in her recordings. I don't care about schooling, all I want is party and all that. Doorknob is smarter than her. But the idea is, everybody is looking for happiness. Allah Azza wa Jalla in this ayah guarantees where happiness is. وَمَنْ أَعْرَضَ عَنْ ذِكْرِي فَإِنَّ لَهُ مَعِيشَةً ضَنْكًا. فالإخوة اللي ينحرفوا, the brothers and the sisters who think that their happiness is by, I want to enjoy my life. Right? We hear it all the time. Man, being religious or this, I understand, but it restricts you, right? It holds you back from doing the stuff you like. It cripples you from living the life. I'm still young. We hear it all the time. I'm still young, right? Young Asian. You're Korean, you're young, right? Well, what is young? Do you think death knows? You think death knows that you're young? I'm still young, I need to enjoy life. And they're just fooling themselves. That's their shaitan is strong enough to deceive them. So you see him jumping from one thing to another, doesn't rest. From one thing to another, looking for what? Looking for that happiness. And he will never find it. Very temporary. Very delusional. They drink to be happy. And Allah punishes them the next day with hangover, where he continues throwing up the whole day, passing out, drowsy, stomachache, whatever, right? Dehydration, whatever. What is this? And then he repeats it the very next day. This woman posts on Facebook, I think, I read the article, she posts on Facebook that I was on spring break. I don't know, at Cancun or something, right? And I'm posting this. Why did they go to Cancun? For happiness. Look at the consequence. She's posting this message on Facebook, asking the guy she slept with, she did not know his name, she did not know anything about him, that to come forward to contact her because she's pregnant. That's happiness. You think that guy will ever come forward? Those women in this country, that single mothers, that she has to have 2 and 3 jobs to take care of her kids. When the father chose, not my responsibility. He's a bum, doesn't work, so how are you going to take care of the kids, right? When a woman comes with 5 kids and each one has different last name. This is a reality. This is a reality. This woman is looking for happiness. And she was trusting this wolf, or these wolves. Well, here, pregnant, and not my responsibility. He's moving on to the next one. And she's the one who's going to pay the price. So when Islam comes and talk about modesty and talk about hijab and talking about stay away from men and stay away from haram and forbidden relationships, to preserve, to protect this woman before anybody else. Because this guy will just walk away. And that's exactly what's happening in this country. Over 50% of children are born out of wedlock. And I bet you a lot of them don't even know their fathers. And a lot of them, whoever they think to be their father, will turn out not to be their real father. This is the reality of the freedom they're talking to us about. This is the reality of democracy. This is the reality of free choice. This is the reality of free world. The woman is the most oppressed individual in the society, in a free society, is the woman. Is the woman. And nobody's happy. She's miserable just like everybody else. ومن أعرض عن ذكري فإن له معيشة ضنكا ونحشره يوم القيامة أعمى. He continues on turning his back to my guidance. We guarantee that we bring him on the day of judgment blind. Blind. When the people, the believers who were blind will come able to see. When the people who were blind will come able to see. This guy, he was able to see and now he's blind. Because this is his reality. Because he chose to close the eyes of his heart to the truth. On the day of judgment, his punishment will be to lock his eyes from being to see anything. Because at that point there is no chance for belief or disbelief. It's over. So as a punishment for him allowing his heart to be blind in the dunya, his eyes will be blinded in the akhirah. الجزاء من جنس العمل. What goes around comes around. When you read how the believers deal with the hypocrites on the day of judgment, and we'll come to talk about it in the khutbah inshallah. When a sirat is established over hellfire, the bridge, and the hypocrites see the believers with light that will guide them, light with them, that will guide them on the sirat that is so thin. But the hypocrites will say to the hypocrites who acted to be believers in the dunya, they will say to the believers, give us some of your light. And can we walk next to you so we can benefit from your light? For the answer from the believers comes, go back a little bit, you'll get light. ارجعوا وراءكم فالتمسوا نورا. So just go back and look for some light. They want light, so they go back. فضرب بينهم بسور. And then a wall will be built or established between them, between the believers and the disbelievers. باطنه فيه الرحمة. The side of the believer is mercy. وظاهره من قبله العذاب. The other side is the punishment. The comparison in the dunya, those hypocrites used to think they're smart. We pray with them, we cry with them, we show that we care about them, but we hate them in our hearts. So on the day of judgment, it reverses. So we're gonna cry with them in the dunya and pray with them, fool them. So the believers on the day of judgment fool them when it really comes. I will go back and find some light. So they fooled them the way they fooled them. Alright? This is the reality, how you live here, how you're going to be treated there. قال إيش؟ قال رب لما حشرتني أعمى وقد كنت بصيرا. الآن جاي تسأل, my Lord, why you resurrect me blind when I used to see. He's still being arrogant. And thinking that he's entitled. And thinking that there is no consequence for his actions. How come you make me blind when I used to be able to see? قال كذلك أتتك آياتنا فنسيتها. This is how our ayat used to come to you. And you used to neglect it. You used to forget, it's time for it. It's not time for this. Oh, this is old. This is 1400 years ago. We are in the 21st century. 21st century. Who, if you ask him what the century is, he won't even know. Right? 21st century. We are in the modern world. We are in America. We are in America. You come to tell me hadith 1400 years ago, people who lived in the desert. نسيتها. We face people like that day and night. نسيتها. So when our ayat and our guidance came to you, you ignored it. So today we will ignore it. And the way we will ignore it will make you blind. The way you choose to allow your heart to be blind for the truth. Because that's what matters on the day of truth. And if you look in Surah Taha, the very beginning of Surah Taha, Allah Azza wa Jalla says, Taha, ما أنزلنا عليك القرآن لتشقى. يعني أنزلنا عليك القرآن لتسعد. أنزلنا عليك القرآن لتفلح. Allah says Taha, those are two letters. We did not reveal the Quran, we did not send down the Quran to you to suffer. So واحد يجي عليك, the deen is difficult. The deen, you come and you tell him, this is how you need to deal with things. This is how what's halal, what's haram in business. You need to stay away from this. You can do this, but you have to stay away from this. You cannot do this. He tells you why it's too difficult. It's becoming inconvenient. Do I believe you or believe Allah? You allow yourself to say that it's inconvenient, and Allah says, مَا أَنزَلْنَا عَلَيْكَ الْقُرْآنَ لِتَشْقَى. We did not send down to you the Quran, so it will be inconvenient. That's what Allah says. And you come to tell me it's inconvenient? So where's the problem? You and me. Mafhum? Unless we acknowledge this fact, we will continue to suffer. Unless we acknowledge that we are the problem, not the deen. We have problem in following the deen. We have problem sticking to the deen. We want the deen according to our hawa. Someone comes and say, why you make dua against the guy who did whatever he did in New Zealand? Why you make dua against him? Why don't you ask Allah to guide him? Islam is so merciful. Islam is so peace. Why you make dua against him? Make dua for Allah to guide him. You want me also to make dua for Allah to get him into الفردوس الأعلى كمان? شوف يعني. Islam is merciful, Islam is peace, Islam is this. Anyone who's connected to the ummah with his soul and his mind and his heart and witnessed, we also done in video, witnessed what this individual had done to the believers in the masjid, to the Muslims in the masjid, and yet he's worried about making dua for Allah to guide him rather than for Allah to destroy him. And those individuals, I want to see if someone hurt them personally in their pocket, what kind of dua are they going to make for him? Wallah, $10, if someone take away from you, you will be cursing them and making dua against them for the next 10 years. Every year for $1. Right or wrong? Deen is merciful, this, and Islam is mercy, but Islam is not weak. And then they quote, here we go, they quote the hadith. Which hadith? So and so believed, and he went to Daws, his tribe, to invite them to Islam, and he continued to make da'wah, and they did not accept. So he returned. So when he returned to the Prophet ﷺ, Allah Azza wa, the Prophet ﷺ made dua for Daws, for Allah Azza wa Jal to bring them believers, and they came believers. So he said, you see, he did not make dua against them. And I said, fine. This is how it's gonna go. Fine. So then I bring the hadith in Bukhari Muslim, when the Prophet ﷺ sent 70 of Al-Qur'an. 70 of Sahaba who were known as Al-Qur'an because of their knowledge and their ability to recite the Qur'an. He sent them to teach people the Qur'an, and then they get killed by a couple of tribes. Ra'lu, the Kwan. So when the news reaches the Prophet ﷺ, he makes dua for them, or he asks Allah to destroy them. He ﷺ made qunut, and he will make dua against them in every salah. Qunut, in every salah. The 5 prayers for a whole month. So whose dalil is closer to the situation in New Zealand? The guy who went and made da'wah and they rejected it, or the people who killed the Muslims? When I use the dalil, trust me, we will win with that game. If you want to apply the situation in New Zealand, to which dalil is closer to? Someone made da'wah and got rejected, or someone who went, some people who went and killed believers? In this situation, the Prophet ﷺ made dua against them. In this situation, he made dua for them. So when you come and you tell me, no, it's wrong, this is falsehood. Someone tells me this is falsehood, this Islam you practice, because I decided to make dua against this bigot. Well, tell the Prophet ﷺ that what he did was falsehood too. By Allah, there are situations you have to show that we're strong. And again, you find people, no, we need to be merciful, we need to show Islam is peace, and this is not the time to do that. And this is the lack of wisdom for a lot of Muslims. I have no doubt that your concern is to show Islam being good and that, but not in that, there's no point. You're not the perpetrator, you're not the one who killed other people, you're not the one who abused other people, you're the victim. Yet you want to show that you're merciful? Yet you want to show that you're weak? It's not the situation. This is like a war situation. When someone takes weapons to walk into a Muslim in a masjid and start killing people who are praying, he's declaring war on the Muslims. And you want to show him how merciful we are? When one of the Sahaba, the Prophet ﷺ in Badr, he said, he pulled his sword and he said, who gives this sword its dues? And when the Sahabi took it and he walked with pride, holding the sword of the Prophet ﷺ, because the battle is about to start. Abu Dujana, the Prophet ﷺ said what? مشية يبغضها الله ورسوله إلا في هذا الموضع. Prophet ﷺ said what? He said this kind of walk. He took the sword and he's walking like a peacock, right? With pride, with pride and arrogance. He said this is a kind of walk that Allah hates. except in this situation. Well, he's not walking like that to the believers. He's walking to show the enemies that we are strong and you're not going to break us. Yes, we are 300 and you're 1,000. Yes, we're not well prepared and you have all kind of weapons, but you will not break us. This is our reaction. What these people gonna do, this is not the first time. I said it in the khutbah. In Syria, 500,000 Muslims, if not more, were killed. And they're still being killed. As we speak, they're being bombed. In Gaza, they're being bombed. In Palestine, they're being abused. In Iraq, they're being abused. In Afghanistan, in China, 2 million Muslims plus are in concentration camps, being forced, women being forced to marry non-Muslims, and being forced to eat pork, and being forced to drink liquor and alcohol. In Kashmir, in Myanmar and Burma, everywhere you look, they will not break us. But when we are worried about what image we need to give them in these situations, that's a loss. If you're not going and you're not willing to flex your muscles when someone is attacking you, I don't know when you will. I don't know when you will. Every situation has its own position that you need to take. I'm not making da'wah to someone. I'm not trying to help a homeless. I'm not trying to help someone on the street who ran over by a car. I'm not trying to feed an orphan for you to tell me mercy. I know my deen better than you will ever know. But this is where the hikmah is. The wisdom is to put the thing, whatever position you want to take at the right time, to take the right position at the right time, in the right manner. Just to show that you're weak all the time. Send a message to me that you don't care. Oh, make dua for him, for Allah to guide him. This is not the time for that. This is not the time for that. Go tell the families of those 49 brothers who were killed, and sisters, I don't know their sisters, but tell them, let's make dua for him, may Allah guide him. Put yourself in their shoes and see what you will say. By no means, I'm saying don't make dua for him. Make dua for him, but don't impinge on the decision I make. You want to make dua? Make dua. I'm not stopping you, but don't come and tell me what to say. Don't come and tell me that you're not right. Oh, this is falsehood. You're a knucklehead, this falsehood. You know nothing. Just good at copy and paste, that's all you know. And how you use and how you relate and how to put everything at the right situation and the right time, you have no knowledge of at all. How can you compare this situation to what happened? To tell me here he made dua for them. Wallahi. لكن الجهل. Alright. So the bottom line, Allah Azza wa Jal says in Surah Taha, as we said, ما أنزلنا عليك القرآن لتشقى. And you have to believe it deep in your heart that the deen of Allah Azza wa Jal is by no means an inconvenience. When it's inconvenient, when you perceive it as inconvenience, when you perceive any order in the Quran or the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ in this religion as inconvenience to you, I can tell you one thing: look in the mirror and truly be honest with yourself and ask the following question: why is it being inconvenient? And I can guarantee the answer to you will be, because I want to follow my desire. You come tell a brother, you cannot meet with people if they're going to have alcohol on the table. You cannot have lunch with people if they're going to have alcohol on the table. Brother, it's business inconvenience. Right? It's inconvenience, right? It's haram. Being haram is inconvenience. But you're forbidden to do that is inconvenience. Now you go to the mirror and you look in it and you ask yourself, why is it inconvenience? And the answer will be very simple. Right? The answer will be, I don't want him to be offended. I don't want to take chances to create enemies in the company I work in. I don't want him to be upset with me. I don't want him to take that position against me. Right? Desires. It's all desires. You did not give one logical reason for you to prove that the order of Allah is inconvenient. It's all about your desires. What you like and what you don't like. That's what it's all about. Because Allah says, مَا أَنزَلْنَا عَلَيْكَ الْقُرْآنَ لِتَشْقَى. We did not send this Qur'an to you to suffer. When Allah Azza wa Jal tells the men, do not shake hands with the women. Inconvenience. I go to the interview and she tried to shake my hand and I said, what do you think she's going to give me the job? Inconvenience. So when you go to the mirror, this magical mirror, right? Or the bowl, the crystal bowl, right? And you look, you see your face in there, and you ask, why it's inconvenience? Most probably I will not get the job. Desire. Desire. Clear? There's no inconvenience in Islam. No inconvenience in the teachings of Islam. But when we put our desires before Allah, we see everything inconvenience. The salah becomes inconvenience. Oh brother, they don't give me break. Can I pray all of them when I get home? The salah, which is the amud al-din, right? The pillar of Islam, the main pillar of Islam, becomes inconvenience. Fasting becomes inconvenience. Everything becomes inconvenience when we prioritize wrong. But you have to reach a point where the Islam is first. I don't care what happens. Lose my life, lose my business, lose my family, lose my soul, whatever. As long as I win Allah, I have won everything. But once I lose Him, it does not matter how much I'm going to get. I have lost everything. That's how a Muslim thinks. That's how a Muslim thinks. That's how the companions taught. And that's why in matters of few years, they ruled the world. Very much. In matters of few years, they tumbled. Those people were fighting each other for a line of poetry before Islam. They will declare war for 100 years because of a camel or a horse. Dahis wal-Ghabran. Islam came and changed them 180 degrees. That in few years, they destroyed the greatest two civilizations at that time, Persia and Rome. The Roman Empire and the Persian Empire. Not because of what they had, not because of the weapons of mass destruction they had, not because they had so many horses and commandos and Rambos and all that, right? Not because of that. Because of وَحَمَلْنَاهُ عَلَى ذَاتِ أَلْوَاحٍ وَدُسُرْ تَجْرِي بِأَعْيُنِنَا. Because of that. For those who came late, we said when Allah Azza wa Jal talked about the ark of Nuh alayhi salam, didn't talk about how complicated the manufacturing of that ark was. Didn't say it was made in Japan, right? Didn't say it has the latest technology and algorithms and how to avoid drowning. Didn't. He went to the simplest description. Allah Azza wa Jal, Surah Al-Qamar. He says, وَحَمَلْنَاهُ عَلَى ذَاتِ أَلْوَاحٍ وَدُسُرٍ. And we carried him, يعني Nuh, the people who followed him, and whatever the animals they took with them, right? And we carried them on something made of boards and nails. That's it. Boards and nails. But the key was what? What's in the next ayah? تَجْرِي بِأَعْيُنِنَا. Sailing with our care. تَجْرِي بِأَعْيُنِنَا. Sailing. That's the key. That's why this ark succeeded. because we took care of it. That's where our heart should be attached. Should be attached to بأعيننا. Allah is the protector. Allah is the one who preserves. Allah is the one who gonna stand between those people, this kind of people, and their plot against this deen. Allah. So let's make our hearts attached to Him subhanahu wa ta'ala. قولوا قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم صلى الله على سيدنا محمد. Also tonight inshallah will be Aqeedah for brother Adil, boy or girl? Safiya, mashallah, and the brother lives in Holland, the Netherlands, right? Hollanda. But he's one of the brothers in this masjid, but he moved there a couple of years ago. But he really wanted to do the Aqeedah in this masjid. That's what I call wala, right? This is allegiance, but in a good way, right? This is loyalty to the masjid and the brothers that he loves and he cares about. And so we ask Allah Azza wa Jal to bless his new baby, and to bless the parents, and to bless the siblings, and may Allah Azza wa Jal make her righteous and good asset to the Ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and all of the children of the Muslims. Ameen, ameen. Jazakumullah khair. So remember him in your dua, and the Aqeedah will be after Salah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.